your host, Jimenez, Jkidd, and Cheesecake would like to welcome you to WrestleMarks, the new up-and-coming podcast in the internet wrestling community. This is not your normal wrestling podcast. Viewer discretion is advised. You don't like our views and stances on shit? Then get the fuck out now. We say what we want, do what we want, and we don't care who likes it or not. This is a true professional wrestling podcast. They are more entertaining than that promotion that sells on sports entertainment. They talk about All Elite Wrestling, World Wrestling Entertainment, Ishii Company, independent wrestling, and anything wrestling related. It's time to play the game. And to sweet everyone, it's time for WrestleMarks.
What is up, chat? I know that intro was doubled because the audio was muted, but today we're going to talk about many different things in the realm of the Forbidden Door, all the outcomes of all the pay-per-views and everything that happened this past week, and see what goes from there. Now we got to repeat ourselves. There we go. I wasn't prepared for a double man show today, so here we go. Today we're gonna, as I said earlier, just me and Jkidd. Cheese is out sick right now. Hopefully he gets better. Best wishes and well wishes and everything else.
Best wishes, speedy recovery to my brother.
But a lot of shit happened in the world of wrestling in the past week. Lots.
A lot. A very long week, but very storied week.
Yes.
Like there were a lot of things. Kicked off the week obviously with Wrestle Kingdom.
Yes.
Wrestle Kingdom was amazing. If I can go ahead and go through those results quickly.
Yes.
Two surprise appearances actually for the Battle Royal or that Rumble, the Wrestle Kingdom Rumble. Shima, I never saw that coming. Shima was never a part of New Japan until Wrestle Kingdom. He was with a other Oriental, I think it was Oriental Pro, and like he made a surprise appearance along with what was that? What was the other elder wrestler? What was his name?
Oh, Tatsunumi Fujinami.
Yeah, Fujinami. Yeah, Fujinami made a surprise appearance as well. Came down to the final four, which was Chase Owens, Bullet Club for life, Shima, Minoru Suzuki, and Toru Yano. Really surprising, I'd say. An amazing match happened second between Yo and Sho.
Yes, that was a really good match.
Really good match. Then continuing the night, Yo took that one over Sho. Then we had Bullet Club's Kenta, Taiji Ishimori, and El Phantasmo taking on Hiroshi Tanahashi with the Mega Coaches, Ryusuke Taguchi and Rocky Romero. I believe Bullet Club won via disqualification because of Hiroshi. They bought the candlestick in. Kenta was using it, but then Hiroshi got the hold of it, started beating Kenta with it.
Yep.
And then the referee only saw that part where Hiroshi was beating him over. So there was that. Next up, Will Ospreay, Great-O-Khan, and Jeff Cobb, United Empire, defeated Los Ingobernables de Japón, which consisted of Naito, Sonata, and Bushi. Shibata beated Ren Narita. Ren Narita is I think he came from the LA dojo. And it was supposed to be what was it? It was supposed to be a catch wrestling event. No strikes, but they said that Shibata went into business for himself because apparently Shibata's past is him being injured badly, so which why he resorted to catch wrestling. But strikes were dealt both sides. Evil defeated Tomohiro Ishii to become the never open weight champion. So that's another win for Bullet Club. Uh, Chaos defeated Dangerous Tekkers, which was a championship match. Dangerous Tekkers, Taichi Ishimori, Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr., members of the Suzuki Gun, versus Chaos's Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi, who Goto and Hashi won the previous Tag Team World League. And Desperado defeated Hiromu Takahashi to retain, with Okada and Shingo, and that match went 35 minutes, and that was a really good fucking match. Really, very well put together. Like at least 5 stars, 6 stars maybe. But Okada took that one to retain not retain, to win the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, and that was just night one. It was a really good
that
night.
was night one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was just night one. It was a really good card nonetheless. And I'm not gonna go through all of the second night, but Okada, the main story here was Hiroshi beating Kenta for the IWGP US title, and Okada beating Will Ospreay to become the unified World Heavyweight Champion for the IWGP.
Yep.
Because apparently there were 3 titles going around. Obviously, Ospreay didn't lose it technically; he had to relinquish. And then Shingo won his, and Okada, for some reason, brought his title. Uh, don't really remember what the storyline was for that one. I apologize. But all in all, great, great nights of wrestling. Wrestle Kingdom, 2 nights in a row, amazing.
Amazing night of wrestling. Like, it's been a while since I watched. The last time I watched New Japan was when Jericho and Omega were going at it. That was the last time I watched it.
hmm That was the last time I watched it as well. It has been a long while since we've seen it, because I believe it was around that time where AEW was breaking through and
Yes.
created their own show.
Through the Elite and Tony Khan and Jericho.
Right.
So,
It
like,
was it was around that time, 3 years ago. So it was good. It was good to watch New Japan again. I just I didn't like watching the show again. It just made me realize, like, man, wrestling is so vast,
there's
different
something
styles.
that came out of also this week with New Japan is that they're coming back to cable TV.
You told us about that. I did hear about that.
They're coming back in March on Access TV with Impact.
Very nice. Um, next, I think the next night was Wednesday night.
Yes, so that
Wednesday
was
night
AEW.
was
It was
Dynamite.
yes,
Dynamite consisted of multiple title matches, tag team, world heavyweight. I mean, not world heavyweight. I apologize. AEW does world championships, and the TBS Women's Championship. Man, where can I start? Let's go with TBS first.
yes.
Jade Cargill versus Ruby Soho. Amazing match. Well put together. Um, had to bring in again Mercedes Martinez
Yes.
for a little bit of a scuffle outside, and then we shown the heat between Mercedes and Thunder Rosa. Continuing that storyline, I can't wait to see what else happens there. But in the end, Jade Cargill hit a super Jaden off the second rope. I believe they were going for the top rope. It was a part in there where I saw that she wanted to go to the top rope, but it was too risky. So she said, "No, we're going right here."
Yep.
hit the Jaden. 1, 2, 3. It was good. Jade Cargill, congratulations to you, Jade. You are a phenomenal athlete. I can't wait to see more coming from you, especially with the TBS around your waist. Can't wait to see many more matches. There is for the TBS championship, there is a whole line of things because Jade Cargill had a bye.
Yes.
So there's already about 4 to 5 wrestlers that are just like, "What, you had a bye? What happened if we met?" You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then the ones that she did meet that actually proved to be um detrimental, um, who could have had her number.
And the number one in my mind is Thunder Rosa.
Yep. Thunder Rosa. The Thunder Rosa Jade Cargill match was amazing, but obviously Mercedes Martinez came into the picture and hit Thunder Rosa over the head with a object, don't remember. And then Jade Cargill picked up the victory there. That is definitely going to be a match after Thunder Rosa and Mercedes Martinez. And then obviously Ruby Soho would want to get another shot at it because their match was really good too. And there's also God, what's my girl's name? Red Velvet.
Yes.
Red Velvet also heated past. A very heated past. So let's see what happens in that little scuffle of the women's tournament that Jade Cargill went through, but obviously they want another shot. Because those are only storylines that would make sense unless they create something new. Because remember,
Yes.
there's something there with Nyla Rose. There
Yes.
was something where Nyla Rose when they were breaking into the whole TBS tournament thing, and especially the Rumble,
Yeah.
their battle the wild card battle royale, or
Yes.
I forgot the casino
Casino.
battle royale. There was something there as well with her. So she has 4, 5 options now.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really fucking good to see what else happened.
It's very interesting with what's going on with all that. Like, there's multiple possibilities for what is going to happen with Jade. Like, she has many
Mm.
different options to go through right now. And I'm going to be brutally honest here. I'm surprised how fast she's gotten better in the ring compared to what she was when she first debuted with Shaq.
Yes,
Because that was rough. It was a decent match, but it was still rough.
right. I can honestly say that as well. I do agree. It was definitely rough, but it's hard work pays off, and you can definitely see the hard work that goes into it. She's very serious about what her craft is. I mean, obviously, a good chunk of her matches were basically squash matches.
Yes.
We've seen it. They're selling her. They're really selling her as this top bitch.
Yeah.
And I believe it. Like a handful of others believe it because she has done her work. Minus like what happened with the Thunder Rosa because Thunder Rosa had her number. She had her number in that match. So it'll be very interesting to see that. Now, if I can move on to Lucha Brothers and Jurassic Express, um, tragic spill.
Yes.
Did not see that coming. I noticed it immediately as soon as he landed. Um, and I just want to say, quick heals, best
Yes.
wishes. You never want to see that with another wrestler. You never want to see those type of things happen. We wish nothing but the best here at WrestleMarks, and
Yeah.
please, a quick recovery. Thank goodness for no broken bones. He
Yes.
has tweeted out no broken bones. But also congratulations to Jurassic Express. They earned
They
those.
earned that.
They earned those tag team titles.
I'm not going to sit here and say because I felt like they still were going to win. But then again, it begs to question if that you would think that that was what's going to happen.
hmm
But with that injury, do you think that there was a chance that they'd switch the ending?
I would say no, because up to that point, it was it was supposed to happen, but not the way that it
Yeah.
should have happened, especially with the injury. But everything up to that point, especially with obviously the Jungle Boy counter into a pin that was going to happen because you can automatic for me I can automatically see because Penta's first expressions were damn we lost the titles, selling it in the ring,
Yes.
and then noticing what's going on outside, check up on his brother, things happened.
Yeah.
I believe Phoenix even said that it was just an accident. We all put our bodies on the line for this, and some things happen. Thankfully, no broken bones, and
Yes.
he will be back. He will be back in about 6 to 8 weeks. So thank goodness for that, no broken bones,
Yes.
because
It
that
it
was a
it, it looked
nasty
nasty.
thing.
It looked nasty.
But it was
I've seen multiple different angles. I've seen angles from like right up in front, right front row angle from someone's phone camera. I've seen an angle from a distance away that you can actually
yeah,
see the arm go backwards. I'm just like
yes,
it it
I've
it
seen it.
it wasn't good.
Whoever watched it live, you guys got to see it uncensored. As soon as they uploaded it to YouTube, they immediately censored it because obviously nobody wants to see that.
No.
Nobody wants to see that. Uh, so congratulations to Jurassic Express,
Yes. Well
Jungle
deserved.
Boy, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus. I see nothing. I see nothing but good things, especially with them as champions. I mean, obviously, Penta and Phoenix, amazing tag champs. Nothing but the best for them. But let's see where else they could venture out from that, and especially now since after that show, when because they went on last, they showed the entire tag team division, especially some of the tag teams who were up in the rafters with
Like the
obviously it was Jericho, Santana and Ortiz were up
yes.
there. I mean, big
Uh
congratulations.
who else? I don't know if they were up there, but like most of the tag teams came out
Yeah, most of the tag teams
it
came
was
out.
mostly all heel tag teams that came out.
Yeah, I saw that.
If you do recall, it was mostly
Hmm.
all heels. Like you had 2.0, which I really think out of all the tag teams, uh, other than FTR, I think 2.0 deserves their shot
Yeah.
because they've been doing excellent work with all these tag teams and all these Sting and Darby Allin. Excellent work.
Hmm.
They're doing good with Eddie Kingston and Santana Ortiz and Jericho. They did excellent work with CM Punk. Like, there's a lot of stuff that that team is doing well, and I really do think that they deserve their shot soon.
Yeah, I've seen 2.0 before they were in the WWE when they were called what were they called?
They were
I
called
forgot.
multiple different things. Like,
Yeah, I know they were called like different names and then
yeah,
stuck to one. I just don't remember. It kind of sucks what happened to them in WWE, but
yes,
recalling from everything that I've watched them from Chikara to CZW, like they are really good talent. Obviously really good on the mic, both of them.
both.
So I can't wait to see what happens with them and Jurassic Express if they were given that shot. But there was also another team there that I really want to see them tangle with. One Santana and Ortiz, I
Yes,
would love to see that because I love that tag team, Proud and Powerful, formerly known as the last LAX that were
yes,
there. Like they were that tag team is fucking inspiring. Uh, Obviously, yeah, I do want to see 2.0, and I do want to see. To be honest, I do want to see more of Max Caster and
yes. Anthony Bowens.
Anthony Bowens.
Yes,
Anthony, they
I
yeah,
feel that with the whole stuff that happened with AEW Dark and that whole
right.
ordeal, that kind of their push was there. I think
Mhm.
that slowed their push a little bit. I think
Right.
they're working their way back up, but like I do want to see them get their shine because they were doing great work before that.
I do want to see them do more as well. They've done well with like some singles things. Obviously, they have some singles things. Max Caster, obviously, like his bars on the mic are just hilarious.
Yes,
But it's a AEW's tag team division is loaded.
yes,
and I just can't wait to see what's next. I wonder where they're going. I really do wonder where they're going. Because next up, because I think they would want to take a shot, is Private Party. I think Private Party would actually be a good fit for their first offense.
Yeah, Private Party would be a good one. Would be a real
Yep.
good one. I'm gonna quickly look at. I don't know if they updated it for this week.
Oh yeah, what are the rankings?
That's what I'm currently looking at. I guess. Hold on. I don't know if they updated it for this week. I know they had it for last week. This is before the. No, let me just go to AEW. They have it on their website. AEW.
Yeah, AEW should have it on their website, right?
Yeah, they should have it on their website. I'm just gonna quickly go there. Rankings. There we go. Official rankings of January 7th. Click that. I will pull this up for you so you can see it.
Let me see.
For the tag teams, number one is the Acclaimed.
Yep.
Number one,
Okay.
number
The
one,
Acclaimed, I do see
number
that.
one is the Acclaimed. Then obviously number 2 is the Young Bucks. Obviously, they're always going to be up there. Then you got
Oh, yeah.
Santana and Ortiz,
Right.
or like
Then you
Jericho
got
likes to says, or Ortez, or what is he like? He says it weird. And then you got FT.
Eddie just calls him monkey.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
hilarious.
And then you got FTR, and then you got Reynolds and Silver.
Oh, we got Silver and Reynolds. I would love to see that as well.
Yes.
God,
That
fucking
that's
Silver
what
and
you
Reynolds.
have for the tag team. Now, this is where this is interesting for the women. Going back to Jade Cargill, the landscape for this is interesting because now they have 2 titles for the women.
Yeah, it really depends on where they want to what they want to do for the women's division.
Because like, even though Battle of the Belts happened, so this is a little old. Rio is number 1 on this list, but like you still got Chris Statlander, Thunder Rosa, Tay Conti is up there.
Yep, Ty is up there. I forgot she had a really good singles run as well.
And then you got Ruby Soho.
You're right.
So like it's a very interesting field of women and where they want to go with this, because I feel right now I think Soho is going with Baker. I think that is what's going on right now.
Yeah, I would like to see.
Because I
Oh,
think at the end of the tournament they already planted that seed where she was trying to have an interview, and then
right, with
they
the interruption
and then
saying about
yes.
Rio and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where that's going. Because and also there's a little tension going on with Rebel and Hater.
Jamie Hater?
Yeah, there's
I
tension
wouldn't say about them two, but it was between Jamie and
Brit.
Britt. But I think they might have squashed that
Cuz like
because
I
what
like,
happened on Rampage.
yes. Cuz I do like at the opening of the title match on Battle of the Belts,
Right.
the title was given to Rebel. Rebel was going to hand it to Hater. Hater dropped the belt. She just threw it on the
Yeah.
ground.
He threw it on the ground.
She didn't care. Like that entire whole storyline was like her not paying it, like not giving a care.
There was that part, then obviously her jumping the gun, giving Britt Baker the glove,
Yes.
which was too early. The miscommunication. Um,
Getting
there was a
getting
whole
getting
bunch of
Rebel
that.
ejected.
Getting Rebel ejected. Yep, that part also. But then it seemed like even with that at the ending, Jamie Hayter grabbed the belt and gave it to Britt Baker and squashed it.
She took the belt. Rebel gave the belt to Britt. Hater took the belt off of Britt, or no, she took the belt off of some. I forget which one who she took it off, but she took it off of someone forcefully and then handed it to Britt.
Yeah, she took it off of Rebel.
Rebel. Yeah.
She took it off of Rebel and then handed it to Britt.
It's
It
very
was a weird thing because Rebel had it. I mean, no. Jamie had it. Rebel took it, and then Jamie took it again, and then gave it to Britt. It was a weird back and forth.
Yes.
But then even at the end of that, they gave it to her. They hugged it out. All three of them hugged it out, and then walked out together. Don't know where it's going.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think there will be a split anytime soon.
I hope not, because I think that I'm hoping if there is something going on, it's probably between Rebel and Hater. And I think because of the fact that Hater came in after Rebel, Rebel was number one for Britt. Hater, I'm not saying she's jealous, but she's trying to prove that, hey, I'm her muscle, I'm her backup, I'm this. You're just there. I think that's what she's doing. But time will tell. Time will tell.
What I see, what might happen, Jamie Hayter is gonna rack up wins, and then Jamie would want to go for the TBS title.
Yes.
Or if Britt would lose it in some sort of way in one of these days or one of these months, Britt will lose the title, and then Jamie will win the title, and that could cause a little more tension.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, AEW storylines can go years.
They're long term.
Their longest
booking.
Their long term booking, it can go years. The longest storyline we've seen since the beginning was Hangman.
Hangman.
Mm-hmm.
From day one of the actual Jericho Hangman match. That's when that storyline started.
That's when the storyline started. It took 3 years for Hangman to come back, win the Casino Battle Royale as the wild card, go in and beat Kenny Omega for the title. That was a 3-year plan. So if I want to say anything that would happen between Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker, it's not going to happen anytime soon.
No. They're planting seeds.
Britt is going to lose the title somewhere, and then Jamie is going to pick the title up somewhere. She's going to win the title. Or a title, either TBS or the championship. She's going to rack up wins as the number one contender. That's where I kind of see that going. And I don't know how well my booking brain is, but that would work out perfectly.
Yes.
And then lastly for Dynamite, we did see Hangman versus Brian Danielson.
Yes.
Fucking, I cannot stress enough how fucking well the storytelling was for that match.
Yes. My only gripe with that match has nothing to do with the wrestling. I understood why they had to put that precedent of if it goes another 60 minutes, we're gonna have judges.
Yeah.
A part of me made it feel like that, that was a little bit too obvious that it wasn't gonna go another 60, because if they use the judges, like, why bring out the judges if you're not gonna go 60? You know, when you have other when you have other matches on the show, and you only have 2 hours to produce a show, and you have 2 other title matches on said show, plus getting other storylines going, you're not going to go another 60. So having that caveat kind of, in my point of view, kind of,
I can understand that point of view.
like,
I can definitely do.
I get why they did it. I get why they did it, because it adds intrigue to the storyline. I get it. But I felt like it was a semi-waste to bring out the judges storyline wise, in the sense of, like, have the judges out there and then not use them.
I'm not going to say that it was a waste, because your point of view, I completely understand.
Yes.
For me, it was along the lines of, I mean, yeah, we had other title matches that night, and it would have been crazy to see what would happen if they did go longer. But for me, I was very invested in this, and also interested to see what would happen if they did go 60 minutes. How would they actually judge this? Because they were going back and forth.
Yes.
They were quite literally going back and forth, and it was going to be hella tough to see how the fuck they could even judge it.
Yeah.
It was very hard. So the subconscious me is like, how the fuck are they going to judge this? While the front of my brain was enjoying every single step, every little fucking thread that they were putting out there for me to tug on and watch this fucking match, because from beginning to end it was a story upon a story upon a story. It was that fucking good. And the big picture in that fucking story was the buckshot lariat.
Yes.
That was the biggest like story that went the entire match. Daniel Brian Danielson did not want to get hit by the buckshot. He knew how dangerous it was. So from the beginning, he went out, and then they told the story of the corner post. Both men bled, and then the story of, what was it, Hangman's arm. Brian was working on Hangman's arm, which was another part of that story. But again, he went for another buckshot lariat. He fell. He fell right out of it because they were both draining each other already. They were both bleeding. They both had crimson masks. It was already down to that wire.
Yes.
And then couple more hits, uh submission after submission, Hangman getting out, hitting him hitting him back into the ring, and hitting that final buckshot lariat to seal the deal. Like the best storytelling in a match that I've seen thus far, besides Hangman versus Kenny Omega for the second time.
Yes.
That was just fucking amazing.
It was. I'm still gonna say that match was still good. I'm not saying the booking decision for the judges wasn't right. Like, I just think in the back of my mind, like, coming from the other promotion, how they did that
Mhm.
stuff over there, how they would do that stuff over there. I know this is a completely different booking, but if they would put that stuff into play, they would go that whole entire 60 minutes. That's why I was like, I would love them to go 60 minutes. I'm not saying don't go another 60 minutes, because I know these two can. But
Mhm. Well,
logically,
definitely.
in my mind, I was picturing all the other matches for the rest of the night. I was like, okay, you're gonna promote all these judges to come in and judge the match.
Think of think of for this particular match, especially the way that Brian Danielson was selling it.
Yes.
Think of the judges as a special stipulation. That's what I thought. That's what I thought of them about. They were a special stipulation.
I would have not have thought this way if that match was placed differently on the card. If that match was placed differently on the card, I wouldn't say last match. I wouldn't say last match, but if it was placed a little bit differently on the card, I think my perspective would have been a little bit different. Because,
Mhm.
yeah, I would love it to be last match, but I felt like Jurassic Express deserved to be main event. That deserved
Yeah.
to be main event. I just or let's take this back a little bit. Let's take this back a little. Brian versus Hangman should have not have been on this. Right? It should have not have been on this episode of Dynamite. It should have been on Battle of the Belts.
Mm,
Only for the fact I understand why we had the FTW title match. I get that.
yeah.
Understand why, because it's not been defended and all that stuff. I just
Right.
think that match should have been on that specifically, because in my point of view, Battle of the Belts didn't seem impactful. It just seemed like an extra show. It seemed like Rampage 2, like Rampage 2.0, like it was a continuation of Rampage.
Right. It was an extra hour of show, and it kind of sucks that they just went 1 hour.
Yeah.
I wish they would have gone longer, but I don't know what. I'm sorry. My fucking light was speaking to me. Anyway, um, I just wish that it was longer than an hour.
Since Cheesecake is in the chat, I'll read what he has to say. He says his take is have the match go to the 60-minute limit, have the judges involved, Hangman wins via tiebreaker from the judges, win becomes more impactful, thus solidifying Hangman's title reign even more.
That would be a second scenario. That would definitely be a really good second scenario, especially with the judges.
Yeah.
That way, it'll be a more decisive win, even if they went to 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Either way, that match was really fucking good.
Yes. I'm not taking away from the match at all. I just think the way it was placed and adding the judges, like, the tease of adding judges, because we all wanted it to go 60 minutes so the judges could be involved.
Right.
And adding that in there and just, teasing the judges kind of took just a little bit from the match, because we were all focusing on what the judges were thinking, and now we're left wondering what the judges would have,
Right. I was thinking in the back of my head, like, how would they score this?
yeah.
But at the same time, I was invested in
Yeah.
the wrestling match.
Yes, I agree. But fast forward a little bit. Now we're gonna look at the rankings of the
Okay.
men.
Oh, I see.
Yes. Now before we get
Oh, shit.
before we get into that, before we get into the rankings, because we see Cody there. What is your thoughts on having an interim TNT champion? Do you think?
Oh,
Do you
Rampage.
do you think that we needed an interim champion when Cody's reasoning for being out is just COVID protocol because he was in contact with someone that had COVID? Do you really think that it deserved an interim champion for right now, or because
Yeah.
because it adds a lot more to it now, because
Yeah.
Cody's still champion. Sammy right now is just an interim champion. He's not
Interim champ.
he's not really champion. He's just interim until Cody
Yep.
comes back. So we're gonna see another Cody Sammy match. I get why they're doing
Right.
it, but like, what if Sammy loses the title against who's he defending again this week? He's defending it this week. Daniel Garcia. What if he loses against Daniel
Oh, that's
Garcia?
right, Daniel Garcia.
So like,
I
it,
don't. To
it,
be honest, I don't see that happening.
I don't see it
yet. I
happening
don't.
either. But like,
Yeah.
it adds a lot more to it, because then if per se Daniel wins,
hmm
it's gonna add more in. Like, it's gonna add. There's a lot of doors left and questions unanswered, because when Cody comes back, Sammy won that title fair and square because he fought Dustin.
Right. But Daniel Garcia won it. But
Yeah, it just
here's the thing. That nothing taken away from fucking Red Death.
no.
Nothing takes away from what he has already put to the table
Yes.
against, especially against the names that he's gone up
Yes.
against. Nothing takes away from that. I just don't see Daniel Garcia currently holding
No.
a championship.
I don't see it right now.
I don't see it right now. So obviously, it's just a match to have people look forward to. I'm looking forward to that match because I know what both men can do, Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia. Um, okay, let me take a step back. Can I just say that that match was fucking phenomenal?
Yes.
Dustin and Sammy.
Yes. With how old
That
with how
match,
old Dustin is.
like age is not even a factor anymore.
No.
To be honest, he is such a ring general that you can see each piece of the puzzle put together in that match. And especially with both men showing respect, then both men obviously cussing each other out and bringing out the best in both of them, ending it in respect.
Yes.
That's that match just fucking blew me out of the fucking water along with Hangman and Danielson. that match blew me out the water. Like, congratulations to Sammy for the interim title, but I can't wait to see Sammy versus Cody 2.
Three.
Cody 3.
Three.
Yep, Cody
First
3. Sammy versus.
wasn't the no. Never mind. When was the first one? I know it. I'm trying to remember who fought Cody at CEO.
I don't remember that one.
I think it was Darby Allin that fought Cody at Fighter Fest. I think it was Darby Allin that fought him then, but I remember their first match. I just can't remember.
Right.
I can't remember where it was and whatnot.
Because I believe Sammy won the first.
Yes.
Cody won the second.
Now this will be the third.
Cody won. Yeah. Cody won the second one, obviously for the title, and then this will be their third meeting,
Yes.
and that match is, God, it already has me excited.
Yes. Even though I really don't like reading chat too much during this, but JP brought up a good thing. That whole outside with Arn and Fuego.
The fucking the whoa, hey.
Yeah.
Did you see his Twitter after?
Yeah.
Fucking Fuego's like, I'm too cute to get shot.
Yeah.
I was like, motherfucker.
Like I thought
That shit was hilarious.
I thought that whole little confrontation was kind of funny.
Yeah, that conversation was fucking hilarious. I fucking love Fuego. He's fucking amazing.
That's why whenever I saw him get his contract live, I teared up for him. Cause like watching the Sammy vlogs.
Oh yeah, I was excited.
Like I was watching the Sammy vlogs for months, and I'm just like
The running joke of Fuego not being signed, and
Yeah.
he's actually signed.
and I get to see it live, and I'm just like, oh shit, it's happening.
That was really good. That was fucking man. Fuego is such a good fucking soul. Rio and Britt Baker, really good match.
Yes.
Very well put together. So we can say that was really good. That was the main event for Battle of the Belts, correct?
Yes, that was the main event, and
Yes, that was the main event.
I love how AEW said that they were only allotted an hour, but TNT gave them extra minutes if needed. So like if that match did go over, we all knew it wasn't going to, but
Mhm.
TNT did give them, hey, if your match does go over the allotted time, we'll stick with it. We will not stop. Show will continue on TNT. I did like
fucking like
I
that.
did like how they announced that and said that, so that when it came to be close to the end of the night for the hour, we weren't expecting it to be, oh, this is the end of the match. The match is coming. It's coming to an end. This, that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because I don't, my personal opinion, I do not want another WCW incident. If you remember back in the day when WCW had that match that got cut off the air because of pay-per-view restrictions, because they had to end at a certain time, then they had to do the match on,
That happened.
yeah.
Yeah, that happened multiple times. Not
Yeah, well, yeah.
just WCW.
Well,
like,
yeah.
It's insane how many times that happened, but also like the allotted time is kind of the reason why they do, like, WWE does such short things
Like,
on
they're
a house
short.
show,
Yeah.
or not even house shows, like on their TV shows.
They only do like
Right.
5, 10, maybe 2-minute matches, and that's that.
Right.
And I kind of wish they would stop doing that, because if you look and see what AEW does, again, as we had this topic of conversation last week, Vince, that's Vince's soap opera. We get it, yada yada yada. But if you
Right.
look at AEW and why people are so invested in that product, is because of the storytelling in the ring, not what's
Mhm.
being told outside of the ring. And if you want to tell a story outside of the ring, do
Make
it
short.
do it short, like how look how impactful the storyline between MJF and Punk is. They're not on that mic for 10, 15, 20 minutes.
Well, the first night they were.
Well, you know what I mean. Like the first time they
Yeah.
met, they have to be on there, talk shit, get their jabs in. But then going forward, it doesn't need to be 15, 20 minutes of them going back and forth.
Right.
Like, I legit love how back whenever they went to Daly's place, Punk said, I don't care about you no more. I'm done. I'm moving on. And then he swerved MJF.
Oh yeah.
swerved him.
And then
MJ
DQ'd MJF by
Yes.
attacking Captain Shawn Dean. By the way, the captain.
Yes, I love his little Twitter bio. He's like, "I beat MJF and now I'm undefeated."
Yeah, he's fucking selling shirt. He wants to sell shirts now. He wants to be the next pillar. He
Yeah.
put himself over MJF. That show was hilarious.
But like I just like how they do their booking with that stuff. Like WWE needs to work on that a little bit.
Mhm.
I understand that like they're more for the entertainment factor than it is wrestling, but I think WWE sees wrestling, their wrestling as we're going to wrestle on the pay-per-view. The main show is for us
Yeah,
for all the
that's
feuds, and I've been seeing that for years because that's why
yeah,
I would stop watching the product on a weekly basis, and I would only watch the pay-per-views because
because the
there
pay-per-views
was
is actually when they have wrestling.
yeah, there was never there was talking, but it wasn't their pay-per-views was how AEW is now. That's how their pay-per-views are.
Mhm.
But like I can't sit and watch them talk about, "Hey, I'm going to beat you up next week or this or that." I'm not going to sit there and watch that. I want to see wrestling on a weekly basis.
I wish that Raw would go back to 2 hours.
Yes.
Raw would go back to 2 hours minimum and maximize the wrestling. What I mean is, like, even if you have 3 matches or maybe even 4 matches, that's 30 minutes and under on its own with
Yeah.
4 matches. That can clear up 2 hours of entertainment already, minus the minutes because obviously you're gonna have commercial breaks and you wanna have your backstage vignettes. Mm, give them 10 to 15 minutes, main event 30, 45 minutes maybe, who knows? Um, cut that up, with the vignettes being about 5 minutes in between commercial breaks, and then we'll come back to a wrestling match.
Yeah.
Like, it's not rocket science, but yet I don't think it's that simple, but at the same time, it's just a wish factor because we all love pro wrestling.
Yes.
I grew up with the WWF, WWE, and I just wish they would go back to what they did
Yeah.
before.
If you go back, do we see title changes on like major title changes on the main shows anymore? Do we see a WWE champion being changed on a Monday Night Raw or a Friday Night
Like,
SmackDown anymore?
cross out if we cross out the Money in the Bank,
Yes.
um, briefcase cash-ins, if we cross those out, very rarely.
And because I'm putting one right in my head right off the bat. When Mick Foley won the WWF Championship back in the day, we don't see those moments anymore on free
Yeah,
television. We don't.
yep, those are just pay-per-views.
So, like, they need to go back to where they were focusing a little bit more on the wrestling. Yes, there was. You can't sit there and say there wasn't talk and back and forth and promos and this and that. There was.
There
But
was.
they did have way more matches on the card, and then they were showcasing. Their also biggest thing is they showcase the same wrestlers every week.
Mhm.
They do not show like who haven't we seen in a long ass time? There's a lot of wrestlers we have not seen
There is a lot of wrestlers that we
that are
don't see anymore.
that are in the backstage or just sitting there and catering and just waiting and showing up not to wrestle. Like they're getting paid to not wrestle.
They're barely getting paid because
Yes.
obviously you have to be on TV and in a lot of
Yes.
time in order to earn a certain paycheck. If you are just backstage, you earn minimum.
Yeah.
That's the sad part. So they're all just there earning minimum
Yeah.
at this point. Um,
There's a few exceptions right now because like, and this is one thing that gripes me right now. We've been having vignettes for Elias for how long, and we still haven't seen him yet.
we've been having vignettes for fucking what's
Multiple.
his name?
Uh,
Fucking
Again, I don't even know his
Val
I,
something.
something Mahan or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Val
Veer
something like that.
Mahan or whatever. I don't even know
Veer
what it.
Mahan. Yeah, Veer my hand. Fear my hand.
Veer
There you go.
Mahan.
That's his name.
But
But we've been seeing all that shit. It's just
like,
fucking hilarious.
and this is something I was gonna bring up last week. I'm just gonna bring it up real quick, and then we're gonna go into the AEW rankings, or because we went on a little tangent. I don't know if you caught this, but if you do recall the NXT stuff that's going on with MSK, where they had Riddle come in as their shaman and all this other stuff, Riddle was not supposed to be their shaman. That was supposed to be Jeff Hardy. It was weird. They had Jeff Hardy to appear in NXT. That was all planned. They, you know, had like a vignette where they were in an airport saying that he's a tag team specialist. Riddle's not a tag team specialist.
He's not. He's not.
So
He's not
so
a tag
they
team
they were
specialist.
because they had like a thing saying, "Hey, guess who I sat next to on the plane? Ooh, our shaman? No, someone that knew our shaman." And he's like, the guy said that he's a tag team specialist. Riddle's not a tag team specialist. So I was like, that makes a lot more sense now that it was supposed to be Hardy.
But he got released.
He got
Speaking of
released.
releases,
He got released. Yes, the biggest one. We'll get to that. Well, we will get to that release for the second time this in a year. I'm not going to say this year, but in a year.
hmm
Second time. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that one. But no, well, let's get to the rankings for AEW.
the last one of the rankings, right?
Yes. Excluding the TNT Championship, because like right now we already know where that's probably going to be heading. Because it's interim right now.
And also Scorpio Sky obviously wants a shot at that TNT title as well.
Yes.
Wardlow is currently
Number 2.
in a scuffle with well, he's being brought in as a scuffle because of MJF and CM Punk.
Yes.
But he's being brought in for that, so we don't know where that's gonna happen.
No.
Adam Cole.
Yeah.
I see Adam Cole and I see Powerhouse Hobbs. Because Hobbs can run his own little he's already doing his own thing. And I think it's good for factions to not always be with the faction. That's why
Yes.
Inner Circle is still Inner Circle, no matter if they are doing their own thing or not. Inner Circle is Inner Circle. That's what they represent.
Look at Dark Order. It's
Dark Order.
It's you don't have them always together. Once
Yep.
rest in peace Brody. Once Brody passed away, I love what they did with that group, where they didn't keep them together and they didn't have them looking for a new leader. Yes, they were doing that. They were having that in BTE. Yes, they had it in BTE.
Yeah, I remember that.
But they were like still a cohesive unit and not really focusing. Yes, they had the storyline of like bringing Adam Page in and then Uno thinking he was the leader and all this stuff. But like they're still a cohesive unit. They're not worrying about who's better than who. And it's just good storytelling on that. And it's literally just like how
They really tied in BTE and the actual show.
Yeah.
Because like even when the actual show, we had to have Brody Jr. and Miss Huber, Mrs. Huber come out and say, "Hey, get your ass back in that ring." And Evil Uno, I still remember Evil was like, "Oh, let's go."
Yeah.
So it was a good tie-in for that. Yep, you don't need, even though you're in a faction, you don't have to stick with the faction.
No.
We always know who you represent. The Elite, so we still have the Elite. Got Inner Circle, Pinnacle, and Dark Order. Currently four factions.
Yeah, 4 factions. We got a lot.
Oh wait, no, Hardy's.
Hardy's.
Yeah, that's 5 factions.
5. Wait, best friends.
Chaos.
Chaos.
6.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just recently became Chaos. Yeah,
Yes.
6. So yeah, it's interesting to see what the fuck happens now, especially with these rankings.
Yeah.
Who will Brian Danielson go after next?
That's interesting, because like I'm hoping he stays heel right now. I know
I'm hoping he takes a little bit of time off because he's been wrestling almost every week.
Yeah, that too. I do hope he does that, and I also do hope he stays heel. I know they turned him heel for just this feud because why would you have this feud
A face and a face.
Yeah. And they didn't want to turn Hangman heel because he was like the person everyone wanted to win against Omega.
Right.
So why would they turn
Yep.
him? Why would they turn him heel? So I do like how they kept. I want him to stay heel, Brian Danielson,
Yeah.
because little known fact with me, my favorite run of Daniel Bryan in WWE was the fickle era of Daniel Bryan, where everything was fickle, and he was like, if you recall when he had his custom title, where he was like the eco, he was like all about becoming. Yeah, it's a weird thing, but like when he was
I don't
that.
remember this.
Oh, this was just just like a year or two ago. This is back when this is when he first came back from injury and like he was getting cleared and everything. He feuded with the Miz for a while and then he was gone for a little bit. And then he came back and he had Rowan with him. Yeah, he had Rowan with him. And he was all eco-friendly and everything else, and he was more focusing on all that stuff.
Oh
And
yeah, when he had the wooden
the wooden
title.
title,
Yeah.
yes, that was my favorite version of Daniel Bryan in the past couple of years. This is where I want him to be because he's in that heel moment again, where he
Yeah,
can.
because he's also back as the American Dragon.
Yeah. So like whenever he was going against Page and he was saying fickle, I was like, okay, here we go. This is the Daniel Bryan that I want to see. I want him to be what he wants. Don't like because when he was a face, he was just like all smiles and this and that and everything else. When he's a heel, I like how he portrays himself.
Here's a thing about wrestling 101. When you're the face, you obviously have to get the crowd behind you.
Yes.
Get everything going behind you. You have to show them that you want them to have compassion. You want them to fucking both fear for you but also hype you up. The crowd is your hype man. That is what the face will be. The heel is you turned up to 10.
Yes.
That's what I've learned because when I it was fun. It was fun. I just turned myself up to 10 and I was more of an asshole.
Yeah.
So that's basically what it is. Like is Brian Danielson, the American Dragon, turned up to 10 because he is very good in the ring. He can talk. He's a vegan
Yeah.
and he can wrestle better than anybody on that roster. And he's saying it, not just
Yes.
showing it.
Yes.
So it's just him turned up to 10 and it works out perfectly. Just like MJF.
Yeah. And speaking of that right now, we're gonna lead into the big topic. Well, actually, no, hold on. I'm gonna hold off on that. We're gonna talk about what we were just about to say. The firing / release for the second time in a year. Not saying
Yep.
in like this year alone. No, second time in a year span. Samoa Joe got fired by WWE.
Once as a talent, the second time as a backstage man. How do you drop the ball on such a phenomenal talent twice? I get it. I get it. He was injured, but watching Joe for such a long time before NXT, ROH Joe, Impact Joe, TNA Joe before Impact. The
My
fucking
favorite Joe, the face paint.
yeah, the fucking one-sided face paint. That was Impact Joe.
Yeah.
Because TNA Joe was the Samoan submission machine. I mean,
Yeah.
he still is that. But man,
Don't forget main event Mafia Joe.
main event Mafia Joe, like such an amazing talent who could fly with the rest of them, not just wrestle them, who could fly with the rest of them. Because X Division Joe was my favorite Joe.
Yes.
And like just dropping the ball. He had such an amazing NXT run.
Yes.
A phenomenal NXT run from debut until he got called up. Even when he got called up, every time he was on the screen, you believed him. He made you believe him, especially against Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Especially against him. Like just the phrase, "I almost made you tap." That alone, you believed him because it almost happened. But to drop the ball on this man not once, but twice. And the second part is not even, none of them is Hunter's doing.
Like it pains me to say this, that like he got injured. He was NXT champion when he got injured. Like the second time. Like the second time he was NXT champion because he came back to NXT, beat Cross, who's also fired,
Who is also fired.
and became the NXT champion.
Mhm.
Triple H lost power of NXT. Oh, NXT is going to 2.0. We don't want Joe as champion. He is injured. We're taking the title off of him. And then the spiraling effect that came from that, where you would see all Triple H's homegrown talent / ones that he pulled from other
Brought in.
promotions, brought in.
Yep, the ones that he brought in are gone.
Like they're all starting to dwindle away.
I think the last ones is
Ciampa.
Ciampa and Pete Dunne.
Yeah. And it's funny, Ciampa and Pete Dunne, as I said to you a couple days ago, were on Friday Night SmackDown's dark match.
Yeah.
They were on their dark match.
I think the worst scenario that I see Pete Dunne and Ciampa in are undercard.
Yeah.
Like, just thinking about it, it just sucks, man. Because Ciampa, God, Ciampa is another great fucking talent. Pete Dunne, another great talent.
Like I
And
didn't
then now you have
Yeah.
Braun Breaker,
Who is Rick Steiner's son.
who is Rick Steiner's son, but doesn't have the last name, and also wrestles like his dad,
Yeah.
without the gimmick.
Yeah.
Without the gimmick of the bow. So what was it? The bow face bulldog
Yeah,
or
something
the
like that.
ball face bulldog or something like that. Like, and to seal the nail in the coffin when Braun Breaker won the title, on his entrance was kicking apart the black and gold X.
Yeah.
If that is not symbolism, I don't know what is.
Like I've been saying, like I've been seeing this since the pandemic. Since all of wrestling had to go to no crowds. I noticed that something was different with NXT. I felt like something was off. And I think
not wrong.
it was the fact that Triple H was losing his quote unquote baby. Triple H was fighting with Vince with a lot of stuff. And
Yep.
one of the biggest ones, we'll get to that topic here in a second, is bringing in talent from other promotions or working with other talent. You noticed back when it was Triple H's thing and then Vince let him have and do what he wanted. We had the biggest person I can remember and recall that wasn't even signed, but that was still wrestling for NXT for a couple weeks, James Storm.
James Storm came in.
He came in and wrestled for a couple weeks. Who did we also get just a couple years ago? Alex Shelley with Kushida.
Alex Shelley with Kushida, and then we also had I think it was a cruiserweight.
The
The
Cruiserweights.
Cruiserweight Classic with Zack Sabre Jr. You had
Pretty much everybody that, like, you had Kota Ibushi.
Kota Ibushi. You had him. Fuck. Who else?
You
God
had
damn.
Tony,
It's been
Tony
a
Nese.
while.
Tony Nese. You had Johnny Gargano, Ciampa, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Tajiri. Tajiri came back for one of them.
Jkidd came back for one. It's just listen. It's just an entire roster full of fucking talent, not just homebrew, but
Yeah.
also from other promotions that can definitely carry the torch, especially for the newer, younger talent
Yes.
who can actually follow in their footsteps. Because I believe that the main reason was not just to have a product, which was a fucking great product, but to also have your talent mix it up with these veterans
Yes.
who have wrestled all around the world.
Joe. Eric Young. That
Joe, EY, Eric Young.
there was, James Storm. He came in.
There was Cassius Ono.
Cassius Ono. Chris Hero.
Yep, Chris Hero.
Oh, Finn Balor came in. You can still
Finn Balor, Kenta.
Penta. You had all these
Fuck.
all these talents that were in NXT, but
Yep.
Vince has
And Bruce Pritchard.
and Bruce Pritchard have a age
They
fetish
have
type of
they
thing.
have an age problem, and also like it's because obviously they're under a certain height.
Yes,
They're above 30,
yes.
and they don't look this way. They don't look a Braun Breaker. They don't look a Walter. They don't look like these guys.
They don't
And
look.
because of that,
Yeah,
because they look smaller in stature, because they look like cruiserweights, they don't know if they can actually be bigger than life heavyweight contenders. But I beg I beg to differ on that because look at Eddie Guerrero. Look at Rey Mysterio. Look at all of these
not even
champions, Shawn Michaels,
not even to mention it. I really don't like saying this name, but I'm going to say it. It's a very sensitive subject, but look at Chris Benoit.
Chris Benoit, another one. God, and all these past champions who have carried that torch because not only did their wrestling were believable, but the fans behind them
Yes,
believed in them.
the biggest
And
one that
that's
I
the
can
most
name right now, the biggest one that was in WWE's hand and grasp, that's now in AEW, Adam Cole.
was Brian. Oh, yep, Adam Cole.
Like,
He was a huge star.
like they
He
had
he
him.
still is.
Like, I remember when he came in with Kyle O'Reilly and
And Bobby
Fish.
Fish.
Like, when Adam Cole came in, I remember that impact that it had.
Yep.
And like,
Because I remember watching BTE before that.
yeah, because like
So I was like,
I was
listen,
because like
I popped off.
I saw a recent tweet a couple days ago. Someone posted a tweet on Twitter, and they said, "You guys see empty seats at WWE shows. Well, this is what it was like 3-4 years ago in NXT, sold out crowds."
Yep. NXT.
So like Triple H, Paul Levesque knew what he was doing. He
Yeah,
knew
he definitely knew what he was doing.
he knew the times were changing, and he needed to put. Everybody was watching NXT
Everyone was
when
watching
it
it.
was just 1 hour, and that 1 hour showcased a lot. It showcased a lot, and he knew what he was doing. He understood what the wrestling landscape was changing into, and he was
And
pushing it.
and everyone who debuted into the main roster from WWE as a like the debut of Finn Balor, amazing crowd reaction.
Yes,
Samoa Joe, amazing crowd reaction.
Eric Young was my favorite when he
Eric
debuted.
Young, Eric Young, amazing crowd reaction. It's just did Eric Young debut with everybody, or was it just him?
You talking about NXT? He was by. If it was NXT, he was by himself.
No, WWE.
WWE. Okay, that was Sanity. Actually, no.
That was
I take
Sanity.
that.
No, because I don't think it was Sanity.
I take that back. No, I think there was a draft, and like there was a lot of things going on at that time, and Eric Young and Sanity did get brought up, but they were teasing it on TV. They weren't really just like there.
Yeah. And then obviously Nikki Cross wasn't with Sanity at that point.
No,
It was
she
just
was stuck in she was stuck in NXT, which
yeah.
I think they should have brought her up with them. That was a waste. Look what she is now.
There's so much things that fucking happen. It just doesn't make any sense. But you definitely see the change. You definitely see what's happening, and then we just have to really ask ourselves: do we really want to keep watching?
Yeah. Like
I don't know.
right now I'm on like I'm not watching the weekly product for WWE.
Yep.
I'll watch if like say I'm off on a Friday and I'm just like on my computer. I'll put it on in the background. Not pay
Right.
attention to it, just background noise. That's how I knew about, and we're gonna get into this topic now. The whole WWE's Forbidden Door.
Which
It's
is
it's very hit or miss right now.
yes.
We don't know exactly what it is. There's a lot of
Everybody
things. Everybody's making it.
everybody's saying Forbidden Door this, Forbidden Door that
Yeah.
about WWE. WWE is inclusive for a reason.
Yes.
This is quite literally what I think is a one-off
Yes.
to fill in a Royal Rumble for the ladies who they
Because
quote unquote don't have enough people for.
they fire all of their
Yeah,
women's wrestlers. They fired
yeah,
Tegan Knox. They got rid of they made Tony Storm pretty much leave because she was just
yep.
tired of how her booking was.
Yeah, Tony Storm left. They got rid of what was her name in the group that recently came up to from
Uh,
NXT to
Hit Row.
WWE, but
I
then
forget.
Hit Row,
I
yes,
forget her name.
Hit Row, Hit Row's female star, got rid of her. They got rid of all of Hit Row after that,
Yeah.
but that's for another topic.
Yeah.
Um, they
Speaking of
still
the
have
the
a
per
handful of wrestlers in NXT though,
they could be using those wrestlers instead of doing what they're doing with. Here we
having
go.
with 7 legends.
Yeah, you got the Bella Twins coming in. You got Summer
That's
Rae
two.
coming in. You got
Summer
Alicia
Rae,
Fox. No,
Alicia
no,
Fox and Michelle McCool.
yes. Then you got Lita,
Then you got Lita. That's
and
already 7.
I think that's
And then
about
Mickey James, 8.
yeah. Who was the quote unquote not really Forbidden Door type thing? I think they only because from what I was reading online and what I was hearing from everyone else
This is a
that
one-off.
they contacted John Laurinaitis, contacted Mickey James.
Yep.
Can you participate in the Royal Rumble this year? Mickey James said, I'll see what I can do. I'm under contract. I'm currently Knockouts Women Champion. I'll see what I can do. She got the okay. They worked it out with each other. I guess I'm going to take a guess at Impact. Only thing they wanted was promote
For
our
her to have the title, promote the show,
promote the
and for
show.
her to come out with the TNA Knockouts title.
Yeah. Like that's all I think that all they wanted out of all this. And
Yep, and they agreed.
and
I was surprised on that.
and like I'm not gonna sit here and say I was shocked. I mean, I was like I wasn't shocked. I'm gonna sit here and say I was because when I was watching, because I had it on my, because I was just doing like Twitch stuff in the background,
Right,
getting stuff worked on for this week, and I just had
right.
it on the background, and I just hear Charlotte come out of the ring, and she's announcing, "Hey, these are all the participants in the Rumble," which I wish they never did that. I kind of wish they would have kept this a surprise,
Yeah, I kind of wish they kept that as a surprise as well.
but, and then I was just listening to it, and I'm like, okay, okay, and then I out of nowhere, I'm like, Mickey James, I'm like. Isn't she Knockouts Women's Champion right now? Isn't she dealing with stuff with NWA right now? Like what? Did you really say Mickey James? And then I hear Pat McAfee at the end of all that say, "Yeah, even Impact Women's Knockouts Champion, Mickey James is even in the match." I'm just like, I knew this was going to be a big topic for an entire week, and a lot of people were going to get talking. I knew it was going to be.
It
I
definitely
think
got
right. I
people
think right.
talking, but
It's spiraling into a lot of hopes and wishes that are going to be all of us
crushed.
a lot of us let down.
Yep.
Because like the biggest tweet that I see right now out of all this is Moose is calling out Roman Reigns. Moose is calling
Not
out Roman Reigns.
It's not just, I mean, yeah, that's one of the bigger stories, but also one of the bigger ones, obviously, because people are talking about Forbidden Doors. They're saying, oh, they're gonna have for the men's Royal Rumble a surprise participant from somewhere else is
Yes.
gonna be Chris Jericho. Fucking why?
And if it was anyone from another promotion, it would be Impact because that's who they're currently talking to get Mickey
Yeah,
James. And it wouldn't. And in my personal opinion, and even though I really don't think he would do this because his storyline that he's going with around everyone's putting his name out there, Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder, I don't think he would
yeah,
come back. I don't think he would do it because
yeah. I don't think he would.
he's bashed them so hard as of late right now.
Yeah,
So I don't think he would
he's
do it.
he has buried the fuck out of WWE.
So the only person I would see them get from Impact, W. Morrissey, formerly known as Big Cass. That is the only name
That
in
still
Impact,
doesn't.
in
Yeah,
Impact that I can
yeah,
see
in
them getting.
Impact. No,
That's the only
I do
name that I can
understand
see
that.
because, like, no one else in Impact that I can see, quote unquote, no pun intended, would put an impact on the Rumble. I see you kind of smiling there for a second, but
I don't,
no, I don't see
I
no
don't
one else.
necessarily like it.
I don't see no one else. And if they would get someone that was like a Forbidden Door person, that's not really Impact, there's only one name, and that's Braun Strowman. He's not really contracted anywhere.
Yeah, because ROH is currently not in contract with anybody. They're just telling
Yeah.
storylines for the
Yeah.
future,
Yeah.
which is obviously with EC3 and Titan
Yeah.
when they're doing the whole control the narrative part. And also, we saw little snippets of Rockstar Spud coming back
Yeah.
with the same style narrative as
Yes.
Control the Narrative. So I can't wait to see that. But also, okay, going back to what we're talking about right now is just it doesn't make sense, but at the same time, it's the only way they can go
And fit
because they
they fu
are former WWE
talent.
contractors.
Yeah.
And like, even though how stupid it fucking sounds, it's gonna happen. It might
It's
happen that way.
it's just like I just wish WWE didn't have to do this.
They didn't.
They didn't have to do this if they would have kept all these wrestlers.
But now people are talking about WWE even more now. This is their shock factor.
Yeah.
This is their publicity stunt of the year right here. To
Yes.
start the year off, this is their publicity stunt. They're gonna name off Impact and blah blah blah, and everybody's gonna be watching. But months to come, nothing is gonna come out of this.
For both companies. Like
For both companies, nothing's gonna come out of this.
Impact's going to talk
Besides, Impact might get more eyes on Impact.
they'll get more eyes for probably till the Rumble's over. Once the Rumble
Mhm.
is over, it's gonna go back to them not having many viewers. Look what happened whenever they had Kenny there. Kenny was there for a month or two. And once he lost the Impact title, Christian came over. Christian wasn't the draw for Impact. It was Kenny. Christian won that title, held that title just to get Kenny off the show because I think probably Kenny was wore out from all those bookings and everything else. So
Mhm.
I think that was why Christian won the title, so that Christian
Right.
could take the weight of the AEW partnership, and then he dropped that title to
He dropped that W to W Mar. I mean,
no
fucking Moose.
no, it wasn't Moose, it was Josh Alexander.
Oh, okay. Josh
He
Alexander.
dropped it to Josh Alexander. Then Moose came out and cashed in whatever he had and won the
Yeah.
title. So
Cash
after
in the
that,
contract on a pole.
yeah,
I think it was.
after that, that's when Impact started losing viewers again because they went back to just Impact talent. It was just Impact talent only.
It the door is open, yo. Like we've seen AEW do it, even though AEW's talent is pretty much like amazing talent nonetheless. But
AEW AEW doesn't need it as much as an Impact.
Impact does.
Impact
Impact
needs it.
definitely does. They need, but the smart way to do it, and I say this from the bottom of my heart, Impact, because I've watched you guys for years. The way to take outside bookings is to give your give your roster enough boost for people to like them.
Yes.
Like it's not about like having your guys win all the time or anything of the sort. You literally need you need star power to make star power.
Yes.
That's the only way I can actually say it. You need star power for star power. If you had given Kenny to a Josh Alexander or a Moose before he dropped it to Christian Cage,
Yes.
let them hit heads and show them what the fuck they got,
This, this,
then you would have had a star.
they almost did it. They almost did it with which they should have did it this way when it was Kenny Omega and Sami Callihan. That feud,
Sammy Callahan is already a big draw to me
yes.
already.
Well, that obvious pun intended. He's the draw.
Mhm. Yeah, he's the draw.
But I wish they would have had him win the title over Christian winning the title.
Hmm.
Sammy should have won it. This is my booking here. Sammy should have won it when he fought Kenny at that pay-per-view. He should have won it there. But he didn't. They kept that Kenny thing rolling because they were not really caring. They just wanted the eyes on the show. Because AEW's wrestler, Kenny Omega, is on the show. They didn't
Hmm.
care.
We can only, damn. They really need to create stars,
Yes.
and the only way to create stars is to put them with other stars.
Yeah.
Like even with Jay White tried his best
Yeah.
because now he has Chris Bay
Yeah.
as Bullet Club representing Bullet Club in
Impact.
Impact, but there's only so much that he one man can do.
Yeah.
To be honest with you,
Who knows? I'm not gonna sit here and get my hopes up for the men's rumble. I'm gonna sit there and watch it, but I'm not getting hopes up for a
I'm not.
surprise entrant from another company.
I'm not gonna get my hopes up for anything.
Because I'm gonna sit here and watch it. I'm gonna enjoy it for what it is.
Hmm.
And I feel like the only surprise entrants that we're gonna get are like
Legends,
legends.
what they do
I wish
every year.
this is a thought that I had when I was walking home earlier today. I had a thought where like I kind of wish WWE did do what an Impact or an AEW does or a New Japan, where that door is open and it isn't a thing where like we ain't working with no one. We're just gonna do it
Yeah,
when we need it. I wish that
stop
was.
being inclusive.
I wish that they would have that door open because then when it comes to the Rumble, your promotion WWE would have more eyes on that Royal Rumble because you have that factor of that surprise entrant from another company.
Let's face these facts. If they would actually stop being so inclusive to all their wrestlers, independent contractors is what they are, and that's what they should be
Yes.
100%.
That's how Mickie. That is
Imagine,
how Mickie is getting on the show.
yeah, imagine just the interchangeable works from these hundreds of promotions, not just in WWE, AEW,
Impact.
GCW, Impact, all these guys. Not just them, but all across,
Yeah.
everywhere. And especially
Include
when you're,
include DPW, who I just told you about.
yeah, include DPW. Imagine just like every week of wrestling would just be different every week with storylines for everybody, just about every week. And is
Times
obviously you're gonna have your,
Vince. It's coming to the point where times changing, and Vince needs to understand that.
yeah, he's not the biggest draw anymore. He's not.
Like times are changing. Wrestling is becoming to where everyone is watching everyone.
WWE is getting exposed for free tickets.
Yeah. There was a video I watched a couple months ago. This was like a long time ago that this video like it was posted just recently, but it happened a while ago. They had seat fillers. They were telling the seat
Mhm.
fillers, "Hey, we're gonna put you in this seat. Be prepared. We're gonna move you. We're gonna probably move you up front in front of the TV, like in front where you can be on camera, or we'll move you here, or this or that. Like we'll tell you where you need to be." Like they had seat fillers.
And they're also like, "Oh, you can't wear that shirt. That's a Bullet Club shirt." No. "Oh, that's a Kenny Omega shirt." No. "Oh, that's a TNA shirt." No. Like
Look at AEW's crowd. Like those crowd signs that we
a
see,
mix of everything.
like those crowd signs where we
Yeah.
see I saw a sign the other day where they'll have say Vince sucks or something. They won't take that down
Nope.
because
They'll let it rock.
they'll let it rock because it's just the fans expressing their opinion, which they have every right to do.
Mhm.
If it was racist or, that kind of stuff, that's different. They will definitely take it. But if it's
Yeah.
just saying Vince sucks or so and
Vince
so sucks,
fears AEW.
yeah, they don't care. I saw a fucking sign for MJF that was like MJF is something, and they ain't gonna take that away. It's just the fans expressing themselves.
Mhm.
Like Vince doesn't. Like I've noticed a lot more in WWE. There's not a lot of wrestling signs. I've noticed
Yeah.
that. I've
Yeah,
noticed
I've
that a
noticed
lot
that.
because
There's not a lot.
if you notice in AEW, we've been getting a lot of these video game signs. Like this game's better than this game or free MVC2.
That shit that's mainly because of fucking they know most of the gamers on the roster, and Evil
Yeah.
Uno is either Evil Uno or fucking
It's it's Kenny. Kenny's the big
Kenny.
Young Bucks. Yeah, like all you got Adam Cole. Oh, I know. I saw a sign. That's reference to something that I miss. The party. They had a sign that said Chugs. They had a sign that said Austin Creed. And it had all the names. Like
Yeah, I saw that.
they
I
had
saw
all the names of the party.
that. Yeah, I saw that, and they didn't take it down. They
No,
left it there.
they left it
No, it
there.
was nothing. Yeah, it was good. I liked it. That was
Like
hilarious.
it's interesting where I just wish this whole Forbidden Door thing wasn't a forbidden door. I wish this was the norm.
It's a forbidden door because of what every promotion has inclusive to them, and obviously they are important assets to where I think this is only towards WWE, to be
Yes.
honest with you. Well,
Yes.
and New Japan, because New Japan was they were obviously the Forbidden Door talk was mainly for AEW and New Japan.
Yes.
That was the main talkings because of what happened with the plucking of partial of the Bullet Club, who were the elite, to create this promotion, and then New Japan was angry because they got Kenny Omega,
Yeah.
one of the biggest draws in New Japan in the past years. The only man to win the title at Wrestle Kingdom, the Gaijin. Um he had a couple of defeats. Oh, the G1 Climax. He also won the G1 Climax, the only Gaijin to do it, the first Gaijin to do it, I think. And it that was one of their biggest draws. And one of the Gaijins that can speak Japanese,
Yeah.
who can talk to their crowd,
Yeah.
actually talk to their crowd. So they were mad about that. But now, since that forbidden door has been kicked down, and I say kicked down when Minoru fucking Suzuki came,
Yeah.
I say that's when that door was kicked down
Yes.
because Minoru is one of the biggest stars to come out of New Japan, to come out of
Yes.
Japan.
Yes.
Oh my god, just hearing Kaze Ninare just fucking echoed through the fucking stadium.
It's just a very interesting time with the world of wrestling when it comes to all of this Forbidden Door talk. Cause like,
Mhm.
cause like, I just wish WWE, like, I wish they would not sit there and act like they're the only promotion that's doing wrestling.
Yep.
Cause
They
like,
gotta
because like, if you look and how impactful the storylines are in AEW when they reference other wrestlers that were in WWE's past,
Yep.
like every time Punk is on the mic with someone, doesn't matter who he's fighting, they always reference WWE.
They always
Always.
reference it. They
Like
always do.
like 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 last week with the whole we all know MJF has a bidding war going to happen very soon. Like
Yeah.
they're going to be fighting for who gets MJF, but like which these fans right now with this Forbidden Door thing in WWE, they really think that they're going to add that feud into WWE's program. Do you really think that WWE is going to want to take an MJF for the Rumble and further a feud for AEW? Do you really think that WWE is going to do that? No,
I don't think they're gonna fucking.
they're
I
not
don't
gonna
think
they're
they're
not
gonna
gonna
fucking
do that
do
for
that.
CM Punk. They're not gonna do it for CM. They'll probably do it for MJF, but they won't do it for Punk, who has bashed them countless and countless and countless times.
Yeah.
Like when he debuted for AEW, his whole thing was he didn't even talk like he talked about them, but he didn't call them. He didn't even he said his former employers, ROH.
Yeah.
He never said anything to do with WWE. He said, I came back for professional wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, he lost his feeling for professional wrestling because it wasn't wrestling anymore. It wasn't professional wrestling.
Punk came back after seeing how they tributed Brody Lee.
Yes.
So by that being like one of the turning points, especially for wrestling and wrestling promotions in general, because like dedicating an entire show as a tribute is something special,
Yeah.
especially for wrestlers who have made an impact in not just their their locker room.
Yeah.
Pretty much any locker room that that man has been in, he's changed people.
Yeah.
He has definitely made brotherhoods, sisterhoods.
Because like when he passed, I've not cried for a wrestler passing since Eddie Guerrero.
Yep.
Like when John Huber passed away, Brody Lee or Luke Harper, it hit me hard because yeah, I really wasn't watching him a lot back when he was in WWE because like we all didn't see him. Like most of us didn't see him. We just saw him as a Wyatt member. But then when he was doing his solo run, when he was winning Intercontinental Championships, we all seen what he could do. Everyone started seeing it, but the booking in WWE kind of fucked him over on that. And
I
long story short on that, that's what happened with that. But then
I can say that I've had the pleasure of watching Brody before
yes,
WWE,
he was in CCW.
EZW, and Chikara Pro.
Yes.
All those promotions that were based in Philadelphia.
Yeah. But like it's just it was a tough loss for me whenever that he passed away because I'm normally not one to tweet out when it comes to a wrestling passing, and this was the
Mhm.
this is the one that I actually really put a tweet out for. I was like, I'm devastated, so on and so forth. Like again, rest in peace. I don't buy wrestling shirts. I just hope people give them to me. His shirt is the only shirt I ever purchased with my own money. Because
I bought wrestling shirts.
yeah, but like his is the only shirt that I have ever bought with my own money. Because I knew what it was going towards. I knew what all the money was going towards.
It was going towards the Huber family.
So I was like, you know what? I am buying this shirt. I am not like. Soon as they announced that they were having a shirt for him, I instantly waited for the initial site crash to go away because that site was going to crash. And I was I was like, next day, I'm instantly getting on that site. Woke up early, saw it was up. I'm instantly buying it. Like it was hard for me to get that shirt because that site was very slow and everything else. But I bought that shirt, and I'm just like,
There was thousands of people wanting that shirt.
yeah. So like, that was a big loss in the wrestling community, not just for just AEW, but for the whole wrestling community.
Big E, like I didn't realize how much of a relationship him and Big
Yeah.
E had.
Yeah.
Like wow.
Like that was a big factor in a lot of. He was a big factor in a lot of people's lives, specifically Big E and Bray Wyatt.
Mhm.
Because like I think the reason why a lot of stuff that happened with Wyatt in WWE was due to the fact he was still coping with the loss of Brody, because he was like off of TV for a long time because for unknown reasons, no one really knew what was going on. He was just gone.
Right.
He wasn't hurt. He wasn't injured. He was just off of TV.
Mhm.
And I like
I
yeah
think more spending time with his family, especially with JoJo and their newborn at the
yeah.
time. Like, yeah, most definitely he just wanted to spend the time with them and you know what I mean, cope
Yeah.
with it.
But no, to get back a little on topic again, rest in peace, John Huber, Brody Lee.
Mhm.
He'll definitely be missed for years and years and years and years and years to come, like, for sure. But something you didn't get to watch too much this past weekend, Hard to Kill happened.
Yeah, I didn't get to see that one.
I got the results here. I only watched a little bit of it. I didn't watch all of it. I watched which I'm suggesting you to watch it. The Chris Sabin versus Jonathan Gresham match for the ROH Championship. That was, I think, the best match of the night.
Okay.
Best match of the night was the women's Ultimate X, because I did see that.
Wow.
I did see that one. I don't
The
recommend.
women's Ultimate X. They're good.
I don't recommend watching Mickie James and my brain just lost her name for a second.
Deanna Perazzo.
Perazzo. I don't recommend watching that
Interesting.
because there was a lot of botches in the match. There was a decent bit of botches in it. Like it was still a decent match, but if it wasn't for the botches, it would have had a better quote unquote impact.
Right.
But I'll just go over all the matches first before I give who won what. But they had a countdown to Hard to Kill on YouTube, like AEW does, and WWE, the other pre-show stuff. And it had Chris Bay versus Laredo Kid versus Ace Austin versus Speedball Mike Bailey, which, to everyone's surprise, he showed up in Impact. I never heard of him before. Like, he's a new name to me.
Yeah, I don't think I remember who the hell Mike Bailey is.
But they had that match, and the winner of that match was Bailey. Bailey won.
Interesting.
So it was like, I didn't get to see the match, but like, he did win. From what this is saying here is that it was a wild, chaotic match featuring the high risk moves and jaw dropping arsenals one comes to expect from the X Division. This was an X Division match, and it would culminate with Bay and Kidd on the outside of the ring, allowing the newcomer to deliver a 450 double knees to the back of Austin for the upset win. So
450 double knees.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the next match after that, which opened the show, which this is the opening of the show, was the women's X Division match. Not X Division, women's Ultimate X. This is what opened up the show. I was surprised they opened it. I thought they were going to end with it, but I'm surprised they opened with it. But the winner of that was, again, I don't pay attention to a lot of the Impact women's wrestling, even though it used to be very good. Quote unquote, used to be.
Right.
Because right now it's just like, I don't know who you are, wrestlers anymore. Because like, I think I stopped watching the women when what's her name now? She's in AEW. She's been in a lot of dark matches and whatnot. Oh, what the fuck is her name? Kira Hogan. I stopped watching their women's division when she left.
Yeah, I love Kira Hogan. She's awesome.
But the winner of that was the people in this match was let me see how to fucking say all these names. Jordynne Grace, Chelsea Green, Rosemary, Alicia Edwards, Lady Frost, and Tasha Steelz. Those were the women in the match. And the winner of that match, which surprised me when I found out who won, because I was gonna think it would be someone other than her. But I'm glad that they're putting someone that is a lesser known female wrestler over. Tasha Steelz won it. It was very interesting to me to see that someone else other than like a Chelsea Green or a Jordynne Grace, or like, you have 4 well-known names, even with Lady Frost, you have more 4 well-known Impact wrestlers like Chelsea Green, Jordynne Grace, Rosemary, and Alicia. You would think one of them would have won.
Right.
You would think. But they went with Tasha Steelz, which is a big surprise.
Nice.
It's a big surprise.
They're creating stars.
Yeah.
That's what I like to see.
So I'm gonna just read what their synopsis of the match is. They said, for the first time ever, 6 women battled in the Ultimate X match, a knockout championship opportunity at stake. Digital media champion Texas owned Jordynne Grace headlined the field, it also included Rosemary, Chelsea Green, Tasha Steelz, and Alicia Edwards, and newcomer Lady Frost. The only way to win the match of this type was to scale the cables and retrieve the red X up above the ring. Pretty much like it's an X. You got to grab grab the red X, obviously.
Hmm.
Steele's partner, Savannah Evans, and Rosemary's partner, Havoc, made their presence felt early, but were wiped out by the field on the floor. Obviously, we knew anyone that had tag teams, they were going to get interfere, obviously. This is a no DQ. Back inside, Rosemary turned Edwards inside out with a spear from the cables, while Grace caught Steele's with a powerbomb from up high. Frost wiped out her competitors, Havoc and Evans with a moonsault from the rigging, like from the top. Moments later, Steels and Green raced to retrieve the X, but it was the former that fell, which was, I saw the ending of this match, so it was Green and Steels fighting for the X. They were grabbing it, like holding on to it. Green stayed up top. Steels fell into the ground with the X. So Steels won it that way. So they were teasing Green winning it, which I kind of wish she did win it, only because, it would have been interesting to see her be pushed a little bit. But I'm glad they gave it to someone that, not many people really know. But Natasha Steels won that. She won that. Then the next match after that, which I need to watch this one because I actually kind of want to see it. Trey Miguel versus Steve Macklin, formerly known as, what the fuck was his name in the Forgotten Sons?
Oh, he was the other side.
Yeah,
Oh fuck, what is his name?
I forgot what his name was, but he was
Yeah, I forgot his name.
he
I
was
still
in the
remember.
he was in the Forgotten Sons with Wesley Blake.
Yeah, he was tag team with Wesley Blake and the douchebag.
Yeah, it formerly was in Impact.
Yeah.
But this was for the X Division Championship, and I'm just gonna read some but obviously Miguel won. He retained his title. But I'm just gonna read the synopsis here. Steve Macklin launched himself like a missile under the bottom rope, wiping X Division champion Trey Miguel out during his entrance. A brawl between the two ensued, with the champ tossing his opponent down the ramp. Macklin recovered, though, and seized control of the match, wearing his smaller opponent down by focusing his attack on the back and rib area. He added an elbow to the lower back from the apron, and then added a side suplex on the apron to further punish his opponent. Miguel finally created some separation, delivering a double stomp to the chest and gaining much needed time to recover. Macklin cut off the Meteora, though, hanging Miguel up on the ropes. He added the crosshairs, a spear through the ropes, and to the exposed ribs of his opponent. The champion recovered and delivered a meteor off the ropes, and to the floor, diving the back of Macklin's head into the guardrail at ringside. A Meteora back inside the squared circle earned just a 2 count as Macklin showed incredible toughness. That toughness could not prepare him for the third Meteora as Miguel successfully retained his title and became the first man to pin Macklin in Impact.
Nice. Okay.
So that I gotta watch that match. Here's the match of the night for me. And I never knew what pure rules were because I've not really watched a lot of ROH as of late. I didn't know what pure rules were. And I didn't even know there was history between these two. There's a little story with this match. While I was watching it,
I never knew that either.
There
I
was
don't even know.
the commentators were talking about their history where Sabin and Shelley had Gresham under their wing. So there was history with that. And I think about 3 years ago, Sabin was in ROH, earned a title shot, but never got that title shot. This was his shot. So there was a little bit of long-term booking with that. Surprisingly, since, ROH went under for the time being. So I'm glad that they gave it to Sabin, not gave it to someone else. So they gave him his shot still. But this was a really good match from what I remember watching. I didn't know that the Ring of Honor had different rule sets. But they added, I'll just read it because they added a lot to it. The voices of Ring of Honor, commentator Ian Riccoboni and announcer Bobby Cruz were there. They brought ROH announcer and a commentator into the match, so they'd added a little bit more, ROH to it.
You're right.
And here it is right here. Joined the broadcast team as ROH World Champion Jonathan Gresham defended against Chris Sabin in the match the challenger waited 2.5 years for.
Oh.
So there was backstory. It was fought under Ring of Honor pure rules. 20 counts. It was a 20 count outside of the ring, and 3 rope breaks allotted to the talent. That's pure rules. Which I do like. I did like that stipulation because, like, in a standard, wrestling match nowadays, rope breaks are constant.
Right.
And the 10 count really gets a lot of 220 count anyways, because the referee are standing there talking to the wrestlers, get back in the ring, and they're not counting, so it's adding more time.
Right.
But the celebrated in-ring competitors, and it also started off with, the Code of Honor. Ring of Honors, always had to start the match with the Code of Honor.
Yep. Code of Honor.
Started at that point, but the celebrated in-ring competitors wowed the fans in Texas with a mat-based battle. It was strictly wrestling. At one point, Sabin delivered a cradle shock for 3, only to find out, this is like fast forward into the match. Like, he delivered his finisher, got him with it, but he found out Gresham had slid his foot under the bottom rope for the break. The referee caught it after the 3.
Oh,
and he continued the match. He said it was a 2. Even though he hit 3, he saw his foot under the rope.
Oh, okay, I see that.
He saw it under the rope, and he still said no. The match is continuing. A barrage of chest rattling chops brought the crowd to their feet, demonstrated the sense of urgency, and then engulfed the match. A series of pins and reversals gave way to Gresham, bridging over Sabin and scurrying the hard-fought victory. It went from, if you remember watching Sammy and Dustin, where they kept going back and forth with their pins, that's what was happening with Sabin and Gresham. But Gresham hit him with one of a roll-up, and he bridged it. He bridged it into like where he was bending his like back, and his stomach was in the air. He bridged it, and that's how he won.
Ah, I see. The adding with the bridge.
Yeah. So that match was really good. It was nice mat-based wrestling. Unlike what you would see from Sabin, because Sabin's a high flyer.
Yeah.
He wrestled a little bit more of a ground game with Gresham, because Gresham's not really a high flyer. So I was surprised on how good that match was. This was my first time seeing Gresham wrestle. So I enjoyed that match. It was a really good, decent match.
That's something I need to watch. Then,
but Gresham did win that one. This match, I was watching it, but then something came up and I couldn't finish watching it. But it was Josh Alexander versus Jonah, formerly known as Bronson Reed in WWE.
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna read the synopsis of the match. Pretty much, Alexander defeated Jonah, which I kind of wish he didn't. I wish Jonah would have won, because this is like Jonah's almost first match. Like first big match. I kind of wish he didn't lose it, but it's beside the point. But Jonah arrived in Impact Wrestling back at Turning Point. This was like months ago, sending an emphatic message to the locker room by making an example of former world champion Josh Alexander. He has repeatedly left the walking weapon lying, including this past Thursday on Access. He drove him through a table with a big splash. Saturday night, he continued his dominance, controlling every early portion of the match by targeting the previously injured ribs of his opponent. Alexander finally created an opportunity for separation, but Jonah countered an attempt at the C4 spike and added a running senton to the ribs for a near fall. In defiant, Alexander fought back and dared Jonah to fight him. A series of clotheslines attempts finally took the big man over the top rope to the floor, where he brought his weight down on the ankle his opponent targeted earlier. The action continued around the ringside until Alexander jumped off the top rope over the guardrail and into the stance onto his opponent. Jonah recovered and made it back to the ring, where he sent Alexander rib first into the ring post and set him up for a massive suplex that drove the fight out of both men momentarily. Jonah turned Alexander inside with a clothesline for 2, then delivered a brainbuster for another near fall. He headed up to the top for a moonsault, but missed, allowing the former champ to rock him with a rolling elbow, followed by a German suplex. Then powerbomb for 2. He viciously stomped Jonah's face and chest, then applied an ankle lock as he sought the submission win. Left with no other option, the big man tapped, awarding the match to Alexander. So Jonah lost to an ankle lock, which I think that was a really, really good, decent match from what I saw from the start, and I missed the middle of it, but then I watched the ending. It was a really good, decent ending for 2 big men. for two big men.
Right.
It was a really good
That's
match.
interesting. Okay.
This match caught me off guard. I didn't get to watch it. I saw the ending and the outcome of this, and you're going to be surprised. You're going to be surprised with what came out of this match.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
This was the match with the Good Brothers and Violent by Design, Eric Young, and all these other people versus Heath, Rhino, Edwards, Swan, and why did I fucking forget his name? Just go up here. Willie Mack.
Oh yeah, Willie Mack, Big Mac.
Yeah, Willie Mack. I don't know why his name, but this was similar to War Games where you would have 1 versus 1, and there would be a timer to when another wrestler would come out.
I see. Okay.
It was similar to War Games, but it wasn't War Games without the 2 rings.
Okay.
And I'm going to read. The rules were simple. Think War Games without the double rings and steel cages. The 2 men started. Another entered from team in alternating order. No winner would be determined until all 10 men entered. The only way to win was by pinfall or submission. Most importantly, there would be no disqualifications. It was It was a hardcore match.
Right.
Swan and Diener started the match until Carl Anderson joined the heel side of things, his team holding the man advantage by way of Machine Gun's victory Thursday night on Access TV. Mac entered next, the babyfaces, hitting the ring with an axe handle. When did this became what the? Okay, I don't care about that part. Gallows drove a golf club into the nether regions of Mac and busted Swan over the head with a piece of the door. Edwards, a former world champion in his own right, brought Kenny the kendo stick with him and unloaded on the heels. That's a long-term storyline with that. Young entered next, rekindling his rivalry with both Edwards and Swan. Heath hit the ring and blinded both Anderson and Young with powder, then downed them with a lead pipe. The action broke down, spilling to the floor before Joe Doering entered, the final member of the heel team. Carnage ensued as the clock counted down and Rhino hit the ring, looking to avenge the many beatdowns and mental torment dealt by him by Young and VBD over the last year. Blood flowed as 10 competitors came face to face, then exchanged blows, neither holding a distinct advantage. A violent exchange of trash can lid shots to the face was won by Edwards, who added a kendo stick shot to the head of Young. The heart and soul of Impact splintered his weapon of choice as he took out frustration on the surrounding heels. Edward lit it on fire and blasted Gallows with the weapon, only to fall prey to a pile driver through a table at ringside by Young. Swan added a 450 splash to EY off the apron while Mac introduced a board of barbed wire to the fray. Joe Doering drove Swan through it with a Death Valley driver, and Anderson flattened Mac with a stun gun. Rhino delivered the gore, and Heath pinned Anderson for the win. This is where it gets interesting. After the match, Ring of Honor's Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, Vincent and PCO hit the ring and laid waste to the babyfaces. Maria Kanellis joined them to the ring, standing tall to close out the shocking segment.
Haven, Bennett, Vincent, and PCO.
Yeah. I was shocked. I came back up from downstairs because I was downstairs for a moment. I didn't get to see the ending of the match. I come up here and all I see is Maria Kanellis on my screen with Taven and Bennett and PCO and Vincent. I'm just sitting there just like...
That's interesting.
I was like, what?
I mean, ROH, none of them have work, so...
Yeah. It's interesting. It's very interesting.
Come on, give me Danhausen.
Give me Danhausen. But yeah, that was so Rhino, he Swan, and Mac and Edwards won. It sounded like an interesting match, but now we got the men's title match with Cardona, Moose, and W. Morrissey. The winner obviously is Moose. I didn't expect Moose to lose it yet. I didn't see him losing it anytime soon. He's the best thing going for that promotion right now. He's been the best thing going for this promotion for a while now. I don't see him losing it anytime soon. But
yeah,
non-stop action dominated the opening minutes of the Impact World Championship match. The defending champion Moose and challengers W. Morrissey and Matt Cardona and each enjoyed bursts of offense, but it was a big Tower of Doom spot from Moose that finally earned him some momentum. An appearance by Chelsea Green, obviously. We knew she was going to show up some way. and a fearless crossbody to the world champion halted his momentum. Morrissey ripped out of the opposition at ringside and flattened Cardona. The Long Island Broski responded with a code breaker that sent Morrissey to the floor. An exchange between Cardona and Moose climaxed with the challenger sending the world champion off the top ropes through the timekeeper's table. A prosthetic leg made its way into the ring from the crowd, and Morrissey utilized it on Cardona, only for the babyface to deliver radio silence for a strong near fall. Cardona again came with a second of winning the world title. His dreams dashed as Moose interrupted the count. Moose accidentally wiped out the referee with a spear, and Cardona flattened him with radio silence. Morrissey disposed of the underdog and delivered a powerbomb to the world champion, but his fall went uncounted. Both Moose and Cardona teased accidentally hitting Green with a steel chair. The champ responded by powerbombing Cardona into both Green and the referee Brandon Tolley. The distraction allowed Moose to deliver the lights out spear for the win.
Okay.
So Moose retained. I really didn't see this match, but from hearing all that, it didn't seem all too interesting. Just a standard triple threat. I mean, they're grading that an A. I'm surprised, but now this is the women's main event. A Texas death match for the knockouts. Mickie James versus Deonna Perazzo. The most talked match of the night. There was rumors going around that the reason why it was main event was because this whole Forbidden Door WWE BS. Apparently, they already had this match to be main event before that whole stuff was even announced. So I don't know why a lot of people were sitting here saying, hey, this was main event because of what's going on in WWE. I'm like, no. I don't think they would have did that. I think they would have kept it where it was if that's where it was. They would have not switched it up. But, we all knew Mickie James was going to win. I'm not really even going to get into this match because, pretty much Mickie won. And I really kind of don't want to talk about this match because there's a lot of botches in this match. But I'm just going to pretty much say how it ended.
Okay.
James made it up as she built momentum. Perazzo went low in a callback to James' WrestleMania 22 match with Stratus. James shook it off, blasted Renault with a guitar shot, rocked Perazzo, which is Renault, who is formerly known as Aiden English. There was a stipulation if he touched Mickie James in this match, he would get fired and Perazzo would lose. So, there was that stipulation. Perazzo with a Mick kick and delivered McDT for the pinfall. 10 seconds later, after burying Perazzo under plenty of plunder, James retained her title. Pretty much, we all knew she was going to win.
Yeah.
If WWE and Impact, more so WWE, never announced Mickie James being in the Rumble, that match would have been a lot more better than what it was. The outcome would have not been predictable. Because why would she lose the title after being promoted as Impact Knockouts champion for the Rumble?
It took a lot of that out, but they could have said current.
Yes.
I don't think they did they?
No. They said Impact Wrestling's Knockouts champion. That's all they said.
Yeah. That sucks. That definitely does suck.
But that was hard to kill this weekend. It was a pretty decent pay-per-view. I mean, for me not watching Impact since Kenny Omega and Jay White coming out. That's the last time I watched an Impact pay-per-view, was when Jay White came out.
Right.
That was a decent pay-per-view. That was a decent pay-per-view for what it was. But it's Impact. What do you expect? But
true.
That was pretty much everything that I know that happened this past week with wrestling. I don't know if there was anything else that happened. I'm not 100% sure. I'm quickly looking and seeing if there's anything that I missed this week.
I don't think
there is one. There is one we didn't get to talk about. Sasha Banks' injury.
Oh. I mean, there's not much to talk about there.
Well, I mean, she's going to be out for what? 6 to 8 weeks?
Yeah,
So
it sucks.
it sucks. It's a big blow for that women's division for how little they have.
Yeah.
It sucks. It legit sucks. But we know they're going to bounce back, obviously. She's going to
Right.
bounce back. I'm just hoping, because we all know that Vince has an issue with wrestlers that are very injury prone. Case in point, we talked about this earlier. Samoa Joe.
Oh,
He does not like wrestlers that are very injury prone because it always destroys his storylines.
yeah.
So I mean, it would be the best thing for her if she did get
But
released, but I don't want her to be released because she's injury prone.
I think the biggest thing um is to stop doing house shows.
Yes. What they
Making your wrestlers wrestle like 4 to 5 days out of the week, touring
yes.
is not good.
I wish they would have kept what they did back in the about 10 years ago, like maybe 10 years ago. They had two shows just like AEW does. They have Rampage and Dark.
Uh-huh.
And they also have Elevation. They had shows that were WWE Superstars and WWE Main Event. They had two shows that were
They
taped.
had
That were
they had
taped.
main event, they had Sunday Night Heat.
They had all these shows that they taped the same day they went on a Monday Night Raw or a
Yeah,
SmackDown. They had all these
right.
shows that they literally could use to have all these wrestlers wrestle instead of
Yeah.
having them wrestle on a Wednesday. And if you don't know, and this is the biggest thing that I don't like about the house shows, is that it takes some talent away from the main roster shows. Because there are some times where you got a SmackDown in, say, Connecticut. Then you got a house show in Miami Beach, Florida. Some of that talent is down there. That
Yeah.
is not being able to be used on TV because they have to be down there. It's kind of pointless. I just wish that they would, understand that like these wrestlers can't be wrestling all the time. This is why they're
Yeah.
so injury prone. This is why they wrestle so much. This is
Because
why they're hurt.
they put their bodies on the line for multiple nights of the week. They're always on tour, which kind of sucks.
Like,
But that's the way that WWE runs their business. We've all seen it.
yeah, like the AEW wrestlers do get their break. Like, I'm not going to talk about Impact and how they do their stuff because they tape their shows. Impact's a little different,
Yep.
but with AEW, they're doing it right. They're doing it right. And when it comes to them doing dark, and they want certain wrestlers to be at dark, they only ask for certain wrestlers to be at dark in Orlando. They don't ask everyone to
Yeah.
be there. They don't
Yeah.
need a Jericho there. They don't need so and so there. They don't need like all these wrestlers that don't need to be there. They only ask the ones that are going to be wrestling and fans to show up.
I think Tony Khan might be booking everybody in advance.
Yeah.
So that they know what's going on and what's happening. So, goddamn, man. It just stop doing the house shows.
Yes. But no, this
Stop
this,
doing
this
house shows.
the end this show off because there's really not much we can watch this week. There was nothing intriguing to watch on the podcast this week because what was there? There was nothing.
Yeah.
Everything that was big was like everything that was all paid for, and I can't watch that.
And everything that was big was paid for, or a lot of the bigger things that happened in AEW all happened on TV.
Yeah. Like there's
So,
only one thing that can come to mind that I can watch, but there's no point of watching it because it's just MJF and CM Punk talking back and forth, and
yeah.
that's pretty much that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, is there anything that's on your mind that we didn't cover? You can think of before we end this off?
I think we hit a lot of the parts that we needed to. Nothing that I can think of, no.
Yeah, because everything we talked about the Mickey James and the whole spiel with that.
Yep.
We talked about what happened with Battle of the Belts and Rampage and Dynamite.
Re-
We talked about
Dynamite,
we talked
Wrestle
about
Kingdom,
yeah,
Hard to Kill.
Hard to Kill. We pretty much covered everything. So I don't think there's anything else that I can think of that we need to cover. So that's pretty much it for this. Obviously, again, I'm gonna say this now. Cheese, hope you get better,
Cheese. Yep.
so that we could have our 3-man group again soon. Soon, we're gonna try to get some guests on the show. Obviously, because
Other Wrestleheads.
yeah, other WrestleMarks,
Yep.
so that like we can have some more insight in other people's minds. I would love to get in the future some people to come onto the show that aren't currently up to date with the current landscape of wrestling. Because I'll give example like Kenny. He's a wrestling fan, but he doesn't keep up with it. It'd be interesting to have his insight of back in the day, but only have Kenny to watch what's currently new. Like we go watch some things and show him what's going on and this and that. If I can get that to be in the process. No guarantees. There's no guarantees because a lot of these people that I would love to have on the show are busy with their own stuff. So that's tough. Because I've already had a couple people ask me that would like to be on the show that don't currently watch it, but want to add some insight.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. They want to add some insight and just to like talk. They like because I had someone ask me, said that I used to watch it back in the day. I don't watch it no more, but I hear you're doing a podcast. I would love to join and just talk wrestling. And we can also one of these days, Jkidd, and if Cheese, you're still in the chat, we could literally talk about what's going on and then rehash old stuff. Talk about wrestling back in the early 2000s and talk about that stuff because that's where most of our memories lie. We can talk about old stuff as well.
Oh yeah. That's
But
definitely good.
I
Okay.
think this is one thing we are going to be doing. I don't know if it's going to be next week. I got to actually look at the date for this before I continue on this saying this. Not this next week, but the following Monday. I'm going to have you and Cheese I'm going to give you a list of Royal Rumbles that WWE has on their YouTube that we can watch.
Okay.
You got to choose your favorite one out of that list. And we're going to not watch the entire Rumble. We're going to watch from entrant 15 onward because those matches take forever.
Those matches take literally almost 2 hours.
Yes. So we're going to watch from 15, maybe 20 to the end. And we're going to watch our favorite Rumbles and this and that. I try to find mine, but mine sadly isn't on that list. It's the one where Vince McMahon tears his quads. It's my favorite Rumble.
Oh fuck.
It was the one where it was Batista and John Cena at the end.
Yeah, and he tried to stand up and he fell on his ass.
Yeah, that's my favorite one. But
my favorite one is Rey Mysterio.
I think that I think that one's on there. I think that one's on there.
That one was a dedication to Eddie.
Yeah. I think that one is on there, but like we'll talk about that and we'll put that on there because I kind of want to do that for the Rumble because it sucks. This year we didn't even talk about this last week that WWE is doing pay-per-views on Saturdays now. They're not doing them on Sundays anymore. They're doing them on Saturdays. They're doing them on Saturdays.
That's interesting. Okay.
So that's a big difference to what we're used to. I'm wondering why the change, but they're doing them on Saturdays now. So that's what we'll do on the 24th the 24th of this month. We'll talk about what's going on real quick with the world of wrestling, and then we'll just instantly jump right into watching the Rumbles. That podcast, by the way, chat, the podcast this soon, will be on Spotify, Apple Music, and iTunes. Soon. Still in the works with it. I almost had it running. Almost had it working. But the distributor that I had doesn't do podcast, so I'll be working on that, and we'll be getting it on all those platforms.
Okay.
So And I'll be helping you. I'm gonna cut this out here, but I'll help you. I'll help you with your stuff in the future with that. But anyways,
Can't wait to see it though.
yeah. I can't wait for us to be on all that stuff because it's gonna be interesting. Gets more eyes and ears and everything else on the podcast, and also anything that we do here will be on YouTube every Friday as a premiere, so that you can watch it again and chat along with whoever it's like. If I'm watching it, because I'm usually gonna have it up on a Friday, and I'm gonna be in the chat watching it with whoever's in there watching it on on the YouTube, and come in chat, give insight. I'll talk. If Jkidd's there, Cheese is there, we'll talk with you guys. Come in there, give us your feedback, tell us what you think while the show's going on. It'd be very beneficial and helpful. And again, as we said at the top of the show, as the intro says, if you don't like our point of view, tough shit. This is our opinion. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it, but you got to respect it. That's
In
all
the
I say.
immortal words of the inner circle.
Yep. But anyways, that's going to be it for us. It's been legit 2 hours. So y'all take care. Y'all stay classy. Too sweet. And we'll see you guys next time. Shine on.